How you doing, everybody? Thanks for watching segment 2 of Smacktalk. I'm Tony Gaglione.
I'm Shawn Adams.
We're going to talk about the UNLV comeback win from 21 points this weekend. What did you think about that one?
I'm glad that they did it.
Finally.
Finally, it went 21-0. It looked like another...
wallop.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad.
It was going to be bad. Give credit to the coach.
Yeah, for benching the starter.
It's about time that we say anything good about Coach Hawk or Hawk.
Oh, it's okay, because next week he'll just throw that out the window.
He can't. He's playing Western Illinois. They better beat Western Illinois.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
This game went like this. Nick Sherry came out. His first pass was an interception after a good Tim Cornette run to set up first down. And then, basically, the Nick Sherry experiment is over.
I think he's young. I think he's going to make him learn this year.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back.
You don't think?
No, I don't think he's coming back. I mean, we'll see what happens next year.
He recruited.
Yeah, I know. Caleb Herring, senior quarterback, comes in.
3 touchdowns, right?
3 touchdowns. 2 to DeAndre something. I don't know. I forgot his name. The wide receiver caught 3 touchdowns, all by Caleb Herring, who was named the Offensive Player of the Week in the Mountain West
Conferences.
Tim Cornette, huge, gained about 100 yards on the ground. Down 21-0, ended up winning 31-21. You got to give him credit.
It matches the highest UNLV comeback in their
history. Yeah, and you know what?
University.
Coming back next week, you got to be on a high.
Oh, you got to be.
So
they're
going to come out.
Muff a punt, forget the punter. I'm just saying, until they prove that they're something different, I'm not going to give them
2 in a row. I'm hoping for 2 in a row. The defense stepped up, obviously, because after giving up 21
I'm going for 3 wins.
I'll take 3
I don't
wins.
think 2 in a row is going to happen.
Western Illinois is going to come. We're winning next week. The Leathernecks are not beating us, okay? The defense has got to be on a high, especially because after giving 21 straight points, they held them to nothing for the rest of the game.
The rest of the game, that's good.
So I mean, Caleb Herring, you got to give it to him. He's going to be the quarterback for the rest of the year.
Yeah, a few other things in the NCAA football world. Texas A&M did not cover the 14 points that we agreed upon, although they were winning by 14. But Manziel comes back with another flurry. Manziel, another ridiculous stat line for the week. But I think the problem is that, Texas A&M, if they can't stop anybody, it's over. They're not going to win. He can't do that. He's a phenomenal talent, but he can't do this every week.
Yeah.
It's like, who was it a few years ago? Oh, in the NFL, Peyton Manning. He would just score 42. If he couldn't score 42, they weren't going to win because they were going to give up 35.
That ridiculous stat line, by the way, was 464 passing yards, 98 rushing yards. He threw for 5 touchdowns. The only problem was he threw for 2 interceptions that really made the difference.
Okay, with 98 rush yards, 460, he matched the actual offensive output of probably more than 70% of the collegiate football teams this weekend.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
One man. Not one. Obviously, when he's throwing to somebody else, but he's the guy throwing the ball.
Over 500 total yards. Let's talk about the other Heisman hopefuls this year. We already said we like A.J. McCarron from Alabama.
Yep.
He threw no interceptions.
334, 4 TDs, beat Texas A&M, number 6 in the country.
Yeah,
You've got to give that kid.
Yeah,
huge. That kid is going to be a star.
He is. We'll see what happens when he gets to the NFL.
Yeah. We'll see
how that goes.
Teddy
Bridgewater kind of fell off a little bit. He only went for 250 passing yards with 1 touchdown. He had 35 rushing yards, no touchdowns rushing. If he keeps putting out game performances like that, he ain't going to be in a Heisman.
No. Speaking of which, Jordan Lynch of Northern Illinois had 154 pass yards and 3 TDs. He had 159 rushing yards and 2 TDs, and we've said this. This guy's got everything he needs to be an NFL star. And he had engineered another comeback.
Sure. They were down to Idaho.
They got Purdue this week.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the big game. That's going to be the big test. But if he puts up big numbers against Purdue...
Is it Purdue or is it Eastern Michigan?
I know they have Purdue coming up.
They do have Purdue coming up.
That's his big test.
Another Big Ten team. So, yeah, that is a huge test for Jordan Lynch. I'm going to say Jordan Lynch won't get at the end of the year, you're not going to hear his name for Heisman as much, unless they're another BCS buster like last year.
Okay.
Which, if they win all their games, they could be. And if they go to the BCS, you better say Jordan Lynch for Heisman. Somebody better.
Check this out. Nebraska-UCLA game. Nebraska goes up big early.
I saw that.
UCLA comes back and smashes them.
I know. I saw that.
Nebraska's out of the top 25.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad because at one point it looked like UCLA just didn't show up, and then they showed up, and they showed up what they can do. I think UCLA besides Oregon, is the best team in the Pac-12. Personal opinion.
Okay.
But, Oregon's on suspension, so they're not going to be in a bowl game. So look for UCLA in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
I'm going to call a UCLA-Wisconsin Rose Bowl.
That would be fun to watch. Number 19, Washington beat my Illinois Illini 34-24 at Soldier Field. Notre Dame beat Purdue 31-24. Notre Dame is not Notre Dame of last year.
No,
let's just put it that way. They're not going to be in the top 25 at the end of the year, even though I love the Irish.
Their imaginary girlfriends aren't at the games.
Yeah, exactly. Western Michigan lost to Northwestern, who's really coming on strong, 38-17. They're ranked 17th in the country right now, and they're going to go up.
They're going to go up. Stanford also won a game against Army. They're number 5 in the country. Again, no credit to the Pac-12 teams because Stanford is a really good team. I think, if I'm right, Stanford-UCLA game is probably going to be the biggest Pac-12 game.
That will be huge this year.
I think they meet in the regular season, and possibly you're going to see them in the Pac-12 championship again.
Yeah, in the title game. You had Michigan squeak by Akron.
No, not just squeak by. I text Tony. I didn't watch it. I text Tony. I'm like, dude, Akron's about to beat Michigan. It's like 4th and 3 from the 4-yard line. And it was 1st and goal from the 7. And somehow Michigan's defense came up to stop Akron. Because it looked like, on that drive, Akron just went right down the field and was like, hey, we're going to win this game. Yeah. They get to the goal line. Got to give props to Michigan for the goal line defense. But Akron should have been plus 37.5. Plus 37.5. That was the casino's line. 37.5 points, they win by 4.
That's ridiculous. As we talked about, Alabama beat A&M 49-42. Number 14, Oklahoma beat Tulsa 51-20. Florida State, number 10, just absolutely demolished Nevada. So if you are from UNR or like Nevada Reno, sorry.
Yeah, you did worse than UNLV for the second week of the season.
Hey, all right.
Speaking of the biggest highlight, in my opinion, Oregon demolished an SEC team in Tennessee. I'm sorry, but Oregon looks like they run professional football against children.
Yeah, and Tennessee is not a joke.
No, Tennessee was no joke. They beat
They're not a top 25 team, but they're an SEC team. And as far as SEC teams go, if they played in any other conference in the country, they would be undefeated at this point.
Yeah. That's
right.
I
mean, you have to give it to SEC teams.
LSU beat Kentucky 45-13. That game was a little close in the first half, and then you see this a lot in college football teams. It's a close game, and then the team that's better goes out.
They start tiring out these guys.
Javion Clowney is hurt.
Well, he's not even in our Heisman hopefuls
but South Carolina barely beat Vanderbilt. It's a 10-point game, but the game was a lot closer. No. Ohio State, with no Braxton Miller, their backup, I think he's a sophomore. They look ridiculous. That's the best. Ohio State, Wisconsin, that's going to be my matchup in the Big Ten.
Okay, I like that. 52-34 over Cal, they won. Ole Miss, number 25, beat Texas, who is just really falling off the wagon. 44-23.
Mac Brown does this. He'll have, I think he's lost the luster in the recruiting classes because they're losing games they should win. They have talent, but I don't think that defensively he can recruit the big names that he had before.
And since you're, I'm sorry to interrupt you, since you're so darn high on Wisconsin, let's talk about how they lost to Arizona State.
Okay, hold on. Okay, this is the weirdest thing ever. The quarterback takes the ball, he goes to the center, kneels down and puts the ball down, and the ref takes 7 seconds to re-spot the ball.
I saw that.
There was no spike, kick a field goal to win the game.
I saw that.
That, to me, they just got robbed. Because it's one thing when it's 5 seconds and it runs off, but there was 8 seconds on the clock. It took them 7 seconds to re-spot the ball. So, like I said, that's a Pac-10, or Pac-12, Pac-10, the old Pac-10, Pac-12, Big Ten conference. Yeah. So in the Big Ten, that's not going to hurt Wisconsin much.
Yeah, no.
And plus, Arizona State's a pretty good team.
Yeah, they are a good team. They did get robbed. If you didn't see it, you got to check it out. I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's on ESPN somewhere.
It's bad.
At least 7 seconds to spot the ball. They had a chance at the end to win.
Yeah, the quarterback just walks over, kneels down, puts the ball down. It's like, all right, let's get up, and the ref's just like.
How do you like this? The entire officiating crew We're Pac-12 refs.
Oh, well, that explains it right there. Moving on, I got some MLB news. Mariano Rivera, this is his final season he retired. He was honored at Fenway Park in his final game in Boston.
That's a huge show of respect.
That's a show of respect, yeah.
I mean, people in Boston are just diehard Red Sox fans. They hate the Yankees with a passion, but they know that Mariano Rivera is the greatest closer of all time.
Yeah, and he'll be the last person to ever wear the number 42. Jackie Robinson's the number.
Yep.
Some Japanese League baseball. These guys will probably be in the Major League sometime next year. Former MLB player Vladimir Valentin just broke the home run record in Japan. He's got 57 now. The record was 55. A few other American players have matched 55. Nobody's ever broke it. And then Masahiro Tanaka wins 21 straight decisions. Now, that might be in Japan, but that's
great.
Nuts.
That's great.
21 straight decisions.
This is a dice K. This is next year you're going to see these teams paying $30 million just to talk to this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody big's going to get him. New York will probably get him. He'll be a dice K for a couple years. And what the problem with the Japanese pitchers in baseball is that their arms die out real quick.
Okay, but he's like Yu Darvish. He's got 7 pitches.
Okay.
So
okay.
he can.
And Yu Darvish is still going strong.
Yeah. I want to read before we close out the show. Playoffs. Boston's magic number's 4. They're 9 games up on Tampa Bay. That's pretty much their division.
Yeah.
Okay. Tampa Bay Detroit's magic number's 8. They've only got a 5.5 game lead on Cleveland, so that's not over yet. And then Oakland just ran away with the sweep with Texas this weekend. Their magic number's 7.
Looks bad.
Yeah,
right now,
they're
just
7 up on
Texas.
Texas.
To the Rays 6-2.
Yeah.
So.
Atlanta's got a magic number 4. They're 10 games up on Washington. That's their division. The St. Louis Pittsburgh is probably going to go down to the wire in the Central.
Yeah.
The Dodgers magic number's 4. They're 10.5 up in Arizona. So we've got a lot of the playoff spots locked up. But in the wild card, you have Tampa Bay, Cleveland, Texas all tied. Baltimore 2.5. Baltimore 2.5 after tonight. New York 2.5. Kansas City 3 games back.
Royals.
So
come on,
Texas and Cleveland are really scrapping.
James
Tampa Bay's a little bit more
tearing people up pitching.
And then in the National League wild card, the loser of the St. Louis Pittsburgh Central race is going to get the top spot because we're obviously so far ahead.
Yeah, it's not
Cincinnati's in the spot right now, and Washington's only 4.5 back.
They were 12 back, not too long
ago. I know, and so that's why I worry. Cincinnati, even though they just got Johnny Cueto back.
Yeah, the game was canceled today, though, by the way, because of the shooting a
the
mile
Navy
away
Yard.
from the stadium.
So hearts go out to all the families
definitely
involved in that. 13 people died in Navy Yard shooting. I want to close out the show by saying thank you. I'm Shawn Adams.
Tony Gaglione.
Stay tuned for segment 3. Thanks.